All right. Hi, everyone. I have Kari Olson with us today, and we're going to hear a little bit about her amazing story and her journey. So, thank you so much, Kari, for being with us.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me. Super fun to be here.
Oh, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your overall journey and your backstory of where you come from and how you've got into this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always just kind of thought of myself as a regular old mom from Minnesota. I have three kids. I knew I wanted to be in healthcare, occupational therapy, specifically since I was 12, and worked really hard to get into school. Worked in a variety of settings, and I did. I really loved it for quite a while, but after 24 years, I was quite burnt out, and COVID kind of pushed me over the edge. And I mean, it even earlier though, I had started searching for something with more freedom, with more flexibility, not only time freedom, because man, you are locked in, for the time that you go to work. And that was just always hard. I wanted to be there for everything with my kids. And I miss my youngest kindergarten graduation. And I think that it still is something that like I have so much guilt about. But
It's
um,
heart-wrenching.
yeah, so the time freedom, but then the financial freedom, I knew that I'd maybe get a 1% raise a year, if I was lucky. Some years there were freezes and we didn't get anything. And there was just like so much more that I wanted for my life, for my kids. And I set out on finding it actually quite a while ago. In 2011 is when I started that journey. I tried 31 different things online. Um, it was a little embarrassing to keep trying, but I felt like there was something out there that was actually going to work, and I just never let that go. And so when I found this, it's been life-changing. It's blown my mind and completely changed everything for myself and my family.
Well, you have a strong perseverance, and I love that you didn't give up and that you kept looking until you found it. And
Mhm.
you really found it because didn't this really take off for you when you did find it?
It did. Again, I was so skeptical. So skeptical after you're in 30 different things and
Okay.
nothing is working. You start to get a little guarded, a little jaded. And so I saw my friend doing this and I was like, what on earth is she doing? And, all those things. It's got to be too good to be true. And this has got to be a scam. And I watched her for over 4 months. And in that time, she made $50,000. And I was like, gosh, like even $900 a month was going to change things for our family. I was like, okay, I'll just ask questions and see what she's doing. And I mean, honestly, once I really understood it, I was like, okay, let's go. So, yeah, I literally surprised myself. It still feels surreal for me to say. And I mean, I was so skeptical about this. I did not tell my husband that I started this. I hid
I
it
love
from
that.
my kids and I hid it from my parents because I didn't want it to be like one more of those things that, at first I got excited. I'm like, guys, I found this thing. It's going to change our life. And then, a month or two later, they're like, Mom, how's that thing going? And I'm like, yeah, kind of nowhere.
Just gonna
So,
wait this time, you thought, until I'm
yeah.
successful to tell them.
Yes, exactly. I did not want to see the disappointment in their eyes one more time. So I was like, we'll just see how this goes. Maybe I won't even ever tell them that I did this. But I mean, I think I made my very first sale on day 4, and I was like, that's amazing. And by day 7, I had made $10,000. And again, trying to be a normal person, because nobody knows about this. I'm like freaking out in the bathroom crying when that sale came in. I'm like, $10,000. This kind of stuff does not happen to people like me.
Life
But yeah,
changing, yes.
it was. And so it was so much fun I said I was going to wait a month, but it was on day 29. I couldn't wait
You
any
couldn't wait,
longer.
huh? You couldn't wait another moment.
Nope. I'm like, no, I cannot wait 24 hours. I sat my husband and kids and then did a Zoom call with my parents and I told them I've been keeping a secret and I started this thing in digital marketing and I made over $53,000 my very first month. So,
Wow, you must have felt like Christmas morning every single day during that
yeah,
initial
yeah.
process, shocked.
Literally shocked, like to the
Yeah.
point where my nervous system was like, what's happening? I was like kind of like adrenaline overload.
I can only imagine. You're giving me goosebumps just listening to it. And what's possible, you know? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. When you don't give up, when you just keep going and plug into finding something that works.
And keep persevering, like, like you said. 31
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love
Yep.
it though. I
This
love
little
it.
thing.
I was lucky because so I've been an RN for 22 years and I knew
Mhm.
I needed to make a change, but I was very lucky because a friend, an ultrasound tech actually, a friend of mine started doing it and I already trusted her and knew that she had done her research and she was being successful. So I was lucky to have to see that, because otherwise I think I would have been initially skeptical too.
Yeah.
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 And I had a moment too. My daughter was Belle in Beauty and the Beast, and she was so excited. It was like her dream role. And I
Yeah.
sat down, girl, on the front row for opening night, and my phone went off, and I had to leave and go to labor and delivery to the hospital. Yes. So that was my moment. My little drive there when I was crying. I'm like, I cannot, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because as moms, you can't get those moments back. Like you said, the kindergarten graduation and was it graduation you said? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so rough.
It is.
These things
Yeah.
keep us up at night too.
Absolutely. The
For years.
guilt. Oh, I hate it. Yep.
Yes, it does. So Carrie, can you take us back to your days in healthcare? What was your life like before you discovered digital marketing? I know you worked really hard for your degree.
Yeah. Um, I have really always worked full time as an OT. Even when my kids were young, I wanted more time with them, but it just so happened that, it was the income that we needed. And so it was, even towards the end, long hours, a long commute. I was commuting an hour and a half every single
Oh
day.
my goodness.
And, just
Wow.
not having the time off that I wanted and needed. My last job was at a school, and I didn't even get a full week off. I got 4 days a year off. And I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
yeah, there was actually a trip I won at one point to Jamaica, and they did not let me go because it was a week-long trip. And they just said no. So I was
Oh my,
pretty fed up by that point. I was just like, just to be there for my kids, to, be there for my parents, just even to go to a doctor's appointment. They were just making it very, very difficult. So it was long days. I think COVID really was difficult on all of us in healthcare, but
it changed things for sure.
yeah, I was really kind of at the end of my rope. And while I loved the kids, the patients, everyone I worked with, those I was helping, it was kind of all the stuff behind it, the paperwork and the insurance and the admin and all that kind of stuff that really burned me out. And I just knew that there had to be a better way.
Yes, those hours are not really sustainable, I find, for me personally, over time. Like they were okay for a few years and I loved too what I did but after, a couple decades, it's it's not sustainable.
No,
It
exactly.
isn't. Okay, so what is something you can tell us that you can think of that maybe you did in your business to move the needle really fast in your business? Because you did have that quick success. And I know that's not typical. Not everyone is going to have that great of success that quickly. But I do know that if you're consistent and you keep at it, it's going to happen, right?
Uh-huh.
But what tip could you give that you found might have helped you move that needle fast?
I love people. I love connecting. And I think one thing that, Michelle talks a lot about is like connections equal currency. And
Mhm.
I really believe that is those, the conversations, the DMs, the encouragement, just be the person that you are, you know,
Yes,
offline, online. I'm a person that I've been through a lot of craziness. And so when I see a person struggling, I want to, either on their post or go to them in the, DMs and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How can I be praying for you, help you? Like, just be you, but like be that person that others want to be around. And not with the intention of like, okay, hopefully I can sell them something at some point, but just like be that person who is, I know most of us in healthcare, we love to help, be
yes.
the helper online, be the encourager, be the light in someone's day, just kind of cheer them up if you can, and just really show them that you care about them as a person first. And then I feel like, man, that opens up a whole world of literally anything. So, I have been a person who is just really intentional. And so I think that was a beautiful thing for me coming into this is I had, kind of poured into others. And so they already had um, some trust there. And so, it's about giving first before, you kind of ask for the get.
I can
So,
see that. You're such a beautiful person outside and in, and it's so obvious that you're very empathetic and friendly and care about people. And
mm,
that's what Michelle tells us too, and that's how Michelle is as well. And I think has contributed to her success. Just really, truly wanting to help people. And like you said, a lot of us in healthcare do already have that gift.
yeah.
We can use it in a different way in digital marketing. Some of these
Yes.
skills that we
Yeah.
used, on the job.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
love that about this. Yes. So if someone is watching this and they're exhausted, they're skeptical, they're close to their breaking point and
Mm.
unsure that they can do what you did or even try this, what would you tell them?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was there for so many years. And, you may think maybe a different position or a different company or area may make it better, but I just felt like underlying there was just that unease or restlessness that I'm like, I just am not made to go to a job day in, day out and know that there's not a huge potential for me like leapfrogging to get to the point where I have, I was still just barely getting by in, as an occupational therapist. Like I was paying the bills, but like, oh my gosh, I have so much bigger goals that it was never going to happen. And so
And
it's
working more
literally,
than one job at one point, right?
yeah.
Sort
Oh,
of
three
parallel.
jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, while it may seem overwhelming to maybe start something new, like there's going to be a certain period of time where yes, it's not going to be easy, but you have to know why you're doing this. And so yes, if you're like I know I cannot work in healthcare the rest of my life, like there's got to be a better way. Just we're telling you that there is, and you get to put in the baby steps. Like you don't have to jump in and 4 days later start posting about this. But could you jump in and like maybe little pockets of time here and there, weekends, nights? It does not have to be this formulaic like 2 hours a day. Like you're the boss. You get to work this around your schedule, your energy, and in order to get to your freedom. And maybe it's, not exactly like I had a hard time doing like 3 pieces of content a day, but what can you do? I just know that like every step is going to get you closer to where you want to be rather than just being like, well, I can't do it. And so not trying at all. So yeah, I'm with you, Stephanie. Like if you're feeling like I am made for more than my current situation, what's going on, living paycheck to paycheck, just know that this can be a beautiful way and it can happen on your terms and, in the hours that work for you.
I love that. I love that. And we're so lucky that it is 2025 and we have this option, right?
Yep.
Because I know when I first became a nurse and I had my babies were small, this did not exist. Like we barely
Yeah.
had cell phones.
Yep.
Yeah, so there weren't these beautiful options like this that available to working moms and healthcare workers like there are now.
Right. Yep. And
And
so, yeah, you can build it up for a while. For me, especially when I was a single mom, it needed to be stable, but I knew I could be building this on the side while also working full time as this grows. Because, if this is something new, there's a little bit of a learning curve, so give yourself some time, some space. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just know that if you plug in and stay consistent, I really truly believe it's going to happen. These are everything that you need to be successful here. It's just a learnable skill. And if you're in healthcare, you went through a lot to learn what you had to for your job. I know that you can do this.
and it's so amazing, like you said, that you can keep working your full-time job and just do what you can. Do a
Yeah.
little bit here, a little bit there, if that's all you can do. And then,
Yep.
scale back with your healthcare job when this does take.
Yep.
It's so many options. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, since you have reached freedom, can you tell us what freedom feels like? What does a life like that look like? Tell us.
So surreal still for me. It's so much fun, just so much peace. I lived in a lot of financial craziness for a lot of my life. And so just to have, there's a level of safety, security, knowing that I can finally, even though I'm getting started very late in life, start putting away money each month toward retirement. That's not anything that I was able to do before Legacy Builders. Take vacations. Last summer, I took our family on vacation. I bought a boat for our family. Like these are things that were like never even considered when I was, still in debt and still working in healthcare. So I, was able to quit my full-time job. I was working as a coach in last November. And then, I mean, even just more recently, I was out of my business for over a month. I was in Bali and doing a mission trip. And then I went to, a business retreat. And I literally was not in this office between March 15th and April 15th. And my business kept going. Like that is something that is just a dream. Like with the systems and the automations, things were running. And I was still making money, making sales, even when I was in Bali. Like that is a true life of freedom.
What a weight lifted that must be,
Yeah,
to not have to really check on things, to be able to make all these decisions and do these fun things, and for
absolutely.
it to keep going while you live your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Such a blessing.
When I saw you at the mastermind in April, I guess you had just come from Bali.
Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
yep.
It was beautiful, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think I got in on Saturday morning and then left Sunday morning for the retreat. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to be here. These are my people. I need to go. So, yeah, it was so much fun.
You may have never gotten the opportunity to do something like that if you hadn't had the
No.
freedom, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. If I was still in OT, I couldn't even take a week off, let alone a month or
Right. 4 days.
2.5 week trip to Bali. So, yeah,
Yes.
that would have never happened.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited for you and your success, and I'm so proud of you. And it's so inspiring and encouraging to see a healthcare worker that has done this and done it so well. So
Yes, and I want to just say yes. If you feel stressed out, if you feel stuck, if you feel overwhelmed and like you're just don't see a way out, I just want you to have hope. Like this has literally changed my life and pretty quickly too. So do not give up. Just stay open, ask the questions to Stephanie, see if this is for you. It may not be, but like just ask your questions and go from there.
thank you, Carrie. I know for me, as soon as I even saw the vision, that
Mhm.
hope right there took some of
Yeah.
the stress off.
Yeah.
Seeing it and knowing what is possible,
Yep.
being the first step. Now, Carrie, are you doing any coaching or anything where if somebody would, or what are you doing anything in your community one-on-one or anything like that right now?
Yes, I do have a one-on-one offer. I am putting together a group program, a short, like 6 week group program. And, but I also just love to pour out to people. It's just like, as a helper,
I know you do. Your community is awesome.
who I made to be. And now that I'm, really only doing this 2 hours a day, I have time. I have time to like do things that make me happy and fulfilled. And yeah, part of that is just pouring into others. So, yeah.
I love that you're, satisfying that within yourself, but helping so many people at the same time. Just love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fun.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I know this is going to help a lot of healthcare workers to kind of understand the system and talking to someone like you and hearing their journey.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. It's been a fun conversation.
Certainly. So if they're watching the replay and they wanted to get in touch with you, can they do that through school?
Of course.
That'd be
Yeah.
the
I
best
have a
way.
free group. Yep.
Okay.
I'm at Mindset and Marketing with God, if that appeals to you. Otherwise, oops, don't know how to
Me
that
neither.
cat there.
You though.
Otherwise, just reach out. Yeah, Kari Olson on there, always open to encourage you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carrie.
You're welcome.